You're watching the CBS 58 News at noon.
We begin the hour with a breaking development in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic. The CDC has released guidance for people who are fully vaccinated from COVID-19.
The agency says this group can be more active and social, but there are still safety recommendations to follow. CBS 58's Kim Shine joins us live in downtown Milwaukee to break it all down. Kim?
Well, the CDC says that fully vaccinated people are safe to meet in small indoor gatherings with other fully vaccinated people. You don't need a mask or you don't need a social distance.
The vaccines are very effective. We're going to see those community spread numbers going down. That's going to benefit all of us, even people who aren't vaccinated at this point.
Now, fully vaccinated people can also be with unvaccinated people from a single household, as long as those folks are at low risk for getting COVID or severe disease. Those vaccinated who come in contact with someone with COVID symptoms, those people can skip quarantine and testing as long as they do not develop symptoms themselves. Now, while the guidelines are relaxed, they are still very much around. So the agency says that fully vaccinated people should still wear masks, distance in public, avoid medium and large gatherings, and get tested if needed.
Some people who are fully vaccinated will come down and contract COVID-19. They may not have all of the bad signs, bad effects from COVID-19, but they still could potentially transmit that to somebody else. The mask is about source control, and somebody who has a lower but not zero risk could pass it along to somebody, say, who has underlying lung disease who is around them.
So when are you fully vaccinated? Well, the CDC says this is 2 weeks after your last required dose. So that's after the second dose for the Moderna and Pfizer, and after that single dose for Johnson & Johnson. Here in Milwaukee, Kim Shine, CBS 58 News.
Helpful information. Thank you, Kim. All eyes are on Wisconsin health officials now as we wait to learn who can get the coronavirus vaccine in Phase 1C. More information is expected this week, but here's what we do know so far. DHS says it will include people under 65 years old with some pre-existing conditions. The CDC has recommended the group include people 16 to 64 with pre-existing medical conditions. But part of the decision making is which pre-existing conditions will be included. More than 18% of Wisconsinites have gotten their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. 10% are now fully vaccinated. In the highest risk population, people 65 and older, 61% have had one dose, while more than 31% are fully vaccinated.
In Washington, the House is now debating the Senate's amended economic relief package, with a vote expected tomorrow on that nearly $2 trillion bill. The bill includes $1,400 stimulus checks for many Americans. Other elements include a child tax credit of up to $3,600 per child, as well as a $34 billion expansion of Obamacare subsidies, making more people eligible to buy health coverage and lowering premiums for others. Not a single Republican in either chamber has voted to support this bill.
These people in the Congress today, the House and the Senate on the Democratic side, are out of control liberals.
Look, the American people strongly support what we're doing. That's the key here.
Some House Democrats don't like that the Senate removed a federal minimum wage hike from the bill. However, they also say the legislation as is desperately needed.
Jury selection is delayed in the trial of former Minneapolis police officer charged in the death of George Floyd. Images of the officer with his knee on Floyd's neck last year touched off a racial justice reckoning in the United States. CBS's Michael George is in Minneapolis with the latest.
Crowds gathered outside the Hennepin County Government Center this morning, where jury selection was set to get underway in the trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, accused in the killing of George Floyd. Chauvin was seen last May on camera pressing his knee on Floyd's neck for more than 8 minutes.
So unless any of the parties object, I'm going to kick our jurors loose and start everything tomorrow with jury selection.
The judge put off questioning jurors until Tuesday, pending a ruling to reinstate a third-degree murder charge. Potential jurors already filled out a 16-page questionnaire, answering things like what podcast they listen to and whether they've ever carried a sign in a demonstration.
Trying to weed out people that don't have prior knowledge or feelings about this case. And I think that's just going to be really, really difficult.
A few hundred peaceful demonstrators have gathered here outside the courthouse. They're demanding justice for George Floyd, but many are doubtful they'll get it.
I'm skeptical just because, history shows, but, I'm going to try my best to show support and hopefully they'll do the right thing.
A lot of the times with cases like this, there isn't really justice served.
Security is increased outside the court with concrete barricades and fencing topped with coils of razor wire. National Guard troops are also deployed. Chauvin has pleaded not guilty to charges of second-degree murder and manslaughter. His defense is expected to argue Floyd died from health issues and a drug overdose. Michael George, CBS News, Minneapolis.
Protesters are planning to rally again today as embattled former Milwaukee police officer Michael Mattioli heads back to court in just a few hours from now. Investigators say he put Joel Acevedo on a chokehold while off duty at a party last April, causing Acevedo's death. Mattioli has pleaded not guilty. He is due in court at 3 this afternoon. Acevedo's family planning a rally just before that hearing starts at 2:30 at Kosciuszko Park.
Let's turn it out to ready weather with meteorologist Michael Schlesinger, who has a check of this beautiful forecast today at noon. Hi, Michael.
Oh my gosh, I'm looking at these numbers like a hawk, Amanda, because it's 58 right now in Milwaukee, Mitchell. If we hit 60, that would be the first time this year we would do so. And I think we're going to do it this afternoon with that wind in from the south and west. Thank you, wind from the south and west, right? Look at these numbers, 57 in Fondy, 56 in Madison, double nickel reading Sheboygan, 51 in Burlington, 54 in Racine. You get the picture here at 54 in Waukesha. So nice. Look at the 24-hour change here. The temperatures about 15 to 20 degrees warmer than this time yesterday, and there's no stopping these numbers. Gusty winds, especially to the north, northern tier, West Bend in from the west and Sheboygan in from the west, about 15 to 25 miles an hour at times. So that is an issue today and probably tomorrow as well at the very least. Satellite radar composite, wall-to-wall sun. This is a big factor in getting us to that 60-degree range. 58 the high so far, 43 the overnight low. Keep in mind a normal high is 40 this time of year. 25 a normal low. Your record 77, -6. They are safe. Temperatures well in the 50s to around 60 this afternoon. Then we fall back in the 40s later on. A little more clouds as well. We'll talk more about the forecast and how long, in fact, we can hang on to these temps coming up.
Michael, thank you. On this International Women's Day, leaders from around the state are looking at how the pandemic is disproportionately impacting women. They came together this morning for a discussion. CBS 58's Emily Thornton joins us live outside the Wisconsin Center with what they had to say. Em?
The discussion focused on women and job losses during the COVID-19 pandemic and how to support all women. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 140,000 jobs were lost or eliminated in December 2020. All of those jobs were held by women. Participants also talked about how women of color are being impacted. They say the pandemic is another obstacle for women of color and others to thrive.
Many women of color have to grapple with negative stereotypes and attitudes that affect how they are treated at work, whether they can provide care for their families, and whether they can access the quality health care that they need without bias and discrimination.
Leaders said they can help somebody by being an ally, holding companies accountable to be diverse, and asking for help when needed. Reporting live in Milwaukee, Emily Thornton, CBS 58 News.
Milwaukee, this is for you.
Giannis is making history as the All-Star MVP. He shattered a previous All-Star record, the most without a mess in the game.
No. Oh, yes. Yes, it was.
The Greek Freak went 16 for 16 from the field for 35 points. Not only was Giannis named the Kobe Bryant All-Star MVP, but he did it all in front of his son.
My son, this is the first time he's coming to watch me play in the All-Star game, and this is for him, and it's just fun to have family around.
Milwaukee now has off until Thursday when they face the New York Knicks. Their first game back in front of fans at Fiserv Forum isn't until Saturday, March 20th against the Spurs.
All he needs is an MVP Finals award. That would be great. Well, this month, Latino arts in Milwaukee's South Side could be called Latina Arts. Still to come, how this organization is highlighting the cultural contributions of women artists. us.
Prince Harry and Meghan tell all in a high-stakes interview. I'm Ian Lee with explosive claims about life inside Britain's royal family.
You're watching the CBS 58 News at Noon with Mike Stralo, Amanda Porterfield, and Ready Weather with Rebecca Scholl.